Have you ever loved something so much that you just want to make it happen every day? Me neither. This is a podcast a day. Pod a day, another day. 337, I think. That I know how you spell Playboy Carti. It's called a pun. It's punny. It's a great pun because actually there needs to be context for why it's Playboy in that way. Playboy Carti. If you don't know who he is, I'll give you a little insight. I don't. By the way, I barely know who he is. Well, that's not true. I'm not that much of a boomer, but I don't. I have no. I don't think I've ever heard. Well, no, I've heard of his music before, but I think it's because like around probably a couple years ago, I was like, okay, this is a big artist everyone always talks about. Let me give their music a listen. First album, put it on. Stopped after like 4 songs. It was Whole Lot of Red, which apparently was an album people didn't like when they first heard it. A lot of people, but now a lot of people call it like, I don't know if they call it a classic, but they say it's at least it's like good, very good, and it's like grown on them now. So there's that. Maybe I should have started with like just a more basic, less controversial one. I don't know. I wasn't really whatever in it. But he's I guess a rapper. I guess a vampire apparently, and I guess also a bit of a sort of a bit of a fashionista. And that's gone to new heights, new dizzying heights. Because around the same time that Drake was exposing the front end, Playboy Carti was out there exposing a little bit of the back end. And you know those TikToks where it's two dudes, like bro-ish kind of people playing catch, and then one of them turns around to catch the ball, and then it reveals they're wearing like a bright red thong or something. It was that basically, but real life. He was wearing like a thong, which was cooking up some information, but it wasn't like. Again, everything is like from a fashion perspective, because it wasn't like I just wear this because I find it comfortable. I like the way it. Let me even say that, but I find it comfy. It was more like no, I'm purposefully showing the top of it. And then he had like boxers on over the top, and then trousers over the top, sagging even low below that, along with whatever the else was the fit. And it's like when you think about like fashion, right? About like fits and shit. When you're not like massively into it, really, you think about it on a very normal level. Like, so there's like 3 components. It's like your shoes, the things on your bottom half, aka your trousers or pants, depending from where you're from, and then your shirt. And you think it's just those 3 things that you mix and match, and that's fashion. And then people take it to this other level where it's like the accessories on the top, and the little bag goes with this, and then they got a little hat with a little handkerchief scarf thing, and then like a little thing around their ankle, and a little this and that. And now it's even the clothes you're wearing beneath the clothes, but you purposefully show a little bit of it that goes along with like the fashion of it all. Is what I found more interesting about it. Because it was like wearing a thong for fashion. I don't know if I've ever thought about it in that way. I'm acting like this is profound. Geezer wore thong, breaking news. But yeah, no, I don't really know anything about Playboy Carti apart from like every now and then I see it's like this kind of fashion thing, this kind of fashion thing. It must be tiring, like being like it actually does make sense when people talk about that in school, like in America. Like I'm actually grateful in the UK. You wear school uniform. People look at that and they go, they're like little Nazis. They're all being made to wear the same little suit. What is this regime they're putting them through? They think it's all like that, but like honestly, it's like your parents buy it and you just wear it for the year, and then next year comes around, you got to do the same thing again. You got to get the trousers, and it's all like you got to go to the school shop, and in the school shop they have like loads of different school uniforms. There's a tiny little shop where they have like this school from this borough, and this school from this one, and this one from this one, and you got to go in there and get the trousers. You get the white shirt. We can get the white shirt from anywhere, from Asda or some shit, but like, aka Walmart. You got to get the school tie and the blazer and the little jumper and shit. And it's like, oh my god, you know how nice it is when you deep it. It's like already you got to get up at like whatever time in the morning, go into this like 6-hour bit of education 5 days a week. it's so nice to just like, oh, this is what I wear every day. I just put it on, and everyone's wearing the same thing. Then having to like, okay, what's today? Oh, I wore that yesterday. It feels like a whole thing. Like for some people, if you're into it, and even if you're not into it, I saw a tweet like this. It's like, oh, you got to have the newest shit and the newest that, and it's like when I going into school, most people's school shoes probably costed like £15, and they would bust them like playing football or some shit a break, or they're just like, and then your shoes would get to a point where they were talking, so like the sole of your shoe was like basically halfway down was disconnected from the rest, so you could basically see your toes, and your feet could be flat down on the ground. You could just lift your toes and it would like be separate from the sole of your shoe. And then I think about around that point you was like probably need to go get some new ones. It was just like and then you'd have like a non-school uniform day or whatever, and that's when everyone would try their hardest. But realistically, it was just nice. It's just nice, like having a uniform. Everyone's just wearing the same shit. There's no thought process into what you're wearing. You just put it on, and yeah. And also, it's like from it just looks less weird. Like I can't imagine like walking around because like some you start walking home on your own, I guess, when you're in like primary school. Um, but some people don't stop till secondary school. But you don't realize how young you are in primary school, or even people like year seven, how they just look like so young. And you think, when I was that age, I felt like I was bigger than I was. But then when you see people walking around and that they're walking home from school and that, if none of them were wearing uniform, and it was just like these really young kids walking home, it would just. I feel like there's something about, oh, like you're when schools are out and all the kids are walking home, but they're all wearing a uniform. There's something safer about that on like a lot of levels. Just it's just like a signifier. Oh, this person's of this age, which um, there's probably a safety element about that. I don't know, that keeps you safer because people can identify immediately that you're a child. Don't know. I don't even know how it would keep you safe. It just feels like it would. Look at me. I'm responsible. Yeah. What else we got here? I mean, you've heard of nepotism. You know when you hear a slogan and you're like, oh god, I wish that's such a good slogan. I haven't heard one in a while. But like I remember there was that like when nepotism, nepo baby kind of became a popular phrase, and there was that article on it, and it was like, oh, she has her mother's eyes and her mother's agent. Mamma mia, that is such a good phrase. That's such a good phrase. Like, and who, for all I know, some like internet journalist from who works for like Variety could have stole that from like some video essay that had like 1,000 views or some shit. They saw it on the thumbnail, but like that is a great slogan. And at the time, and here's the thing: all the nepo babies I was talking about, it was like John David Washington. It was like other people. Actually, let me get the thing up now so I can see it. Nepo babies. It'll be the first thing that comes up, so I'll see who it is. Who else? Oh yeah, obviously Jaden Smith. I mean, he's really less proven at this point. Who we got here? Jack Quaid, the boys fame and other shit. Maya Hawke. It's like, look, you go Maya Hawke, you go Jack Quaid, you go John David Washington. It's like, yeah, they're all nepo babies, but the other thing they've all got in common is they're all actually good. And the latest one we're going to add to the list is Cillian Murphy's kid is making his like debut in some film. I can't remember who's in it. I could probably find that out as well. Oh, Jenna Ortega's in it. Someone else. It'll probably be good. And here's the thing is, there's probably a sense of nepotism here. Not even that directly. You kind of hear that and think, oh, Cillian got him the job. Not even that, but just being Cillian Murphy's son and acting, and you're obviously going to be decent, and just connections, and by knowing people, you're in the industry, but while you're still in the fucking womb, it's gonna do wonders for you, type thing. But like at the same time, I also acknowledge he'll probably be really good. Like he probably just is good. But then don't take that too far. You see people tweeting like, this is when nepotism's final. This is nepotism at its finest. And whether you're joking or not, that's always going to leave a little taste in your mouth, because there is no, even if it's like perfect casting, I guess, unless it's like you're playing someone, like if it's like someone's son and they're playing them, I guess. But even that, it's like if you're like playing, like for example, you're playing your dad in a flashback scene when he was a kid and you're playing him as a kid because you actually are his kid, so it kind of makes sense. But even that, it's like, it doesn't just necessarily mean you're the best friend. And even if you are really good, still getting it just out of there is like, it doesn't, being good shouldn't matter. You know, it should be a complete meritocracy, because also there'll be people who are really good, who, you know, like if Killian Murphy's son is really good and there's some kid called James who's also really good, it'll probably change James's life more if he gets the role than Killian Murphy's son. Like, his son doesn't really need this as much, you know what I mean? Like, he's good, whereas there'll be people who are really good, if not better, in areas that, just undiscovered, untapped potential, and the life they're living, very normal life, or just, in the gutter, trying to make it out, rags to riches story, you know what I mean? But, same time, shoes on the other foot. Or you've got, it's like when people talk about James Gunn and how he's always hiring his friends and like his family and shit. It's like, well, yeah, that's a couple less roles and shit. But at the same time, if you made it, you'd probably want to bring people up around you as well. And equally, if you was gunning to make it and someone you knew made it, you'd probably want them to like chuck your role or like at least something small to at least showcase it. That's just the way it goes. So you can see it both sides. You can see both sides. Which also reminds me of like when it was like Idris Elba's daughter was annoyed at, he wouldn't speak to Idris Elba, aka her dad, for like weeks after he did a movie and he didn't get her the part as his daughter in the movie and it went to someone else. She was like, "What, Dad? I'm literally a daughter. You couldn't have slid that role my way," sort of After Earth style. Will and Jaden Smith, the smash hit that was After Earth, I know. And he was like, "Nah." And then even worse than that, even worse. Well, not even worse. I actually agree with that. That should be how it is. But like, what's worse than him not just getting you the role, playing his daughter when you are his daughter, is him then exposing you in like an interview with like Lad Bible or whoever the fuck it was. Because like, oh my god, that's just so embarrassing. That's just so whatever. But yeah. Yeah. What else? One of my silly little notes. What a silly little guy I am. What else we got here? Ben. I know that doesn't fit here. The show would be Stranger Things thing. I'll go into this real quick because this is funny. Again, Noah Schnapp. He just can't stop being on everyone's tongues. In what seems to be more bits of damage control, from the Duther brothers themselves. Obviously, we had Noah Schnapp post, a video out of nowhere, like just unedited sort of 5-minute video. I don't know anyone who actually sat through that thing, where he kind of like is trying to re-explain himself because there's a bunch of backlash and people threatening to not watch the show. Which, by the way, I reckon season 5 has one of the best viewing numbers of any of the seasons. Like, I don't really think it's going to affect the show massively. So I don't really think they have to have much to worry about. If anything, it might do have the most numbers. It's the final season, and there's controversy, and apparently there's no such thing as bad news. So, that's the famous phrase. So yeah, they had that thing where he was trying to re-explain himself, basically being like, "I just want peace, man," to try and like get people back on side. And then there was like this weird, like I'm taking this quote out of context, obviously, because that's how it's presented to me, from Gaten Matarazzo, aka what's his name in the show? I actually don't know. What is his name in the show? I really thought that would come to me. I really thought I would know. Dustin Henderson. And he was like, I actually have it, I think, written down here somewhere. And he, just out of nowhere, he was like, "Hey guys, I think the show would be way better if more people just kind of like died. Just if more people just like died out of nowhere, like one of the kids. I don't know, like wouldn't that be sick? If like no one was safe, like at any point one of the kids could just drop dead, die. Maybe like 5 minutes into the first episode, just to like set the stakes. Wouldn't that be cool? Just a thought. Just keep that in mind. That'd be a cool idea. Kind of like suggesting we're gonna kill off Noah Schnapp in the first 5 minutes. So come watch. You'll see Schnapp die, and then you can watch the rest of the show. That's kind of what I'm imagining now in my mind, if any kid dies, it's going to be Schnapp and it's going to be early, which is kind of crazy because I know they were talking at the end of last season when people were complaining at the time, saying, Will and Mike are barely in it, and the brothers Duff were kind of saying, I can't remember if this is about Mike or Will, but I'm pretty sure it was about Will. And they was like, he's going to be the main character in season 5. Don't worry. You got a little of him here because it's setting up to be his story in season 5. And he's going to be basically the main character. And he's going to. So if he dies in the first minutes, that wasn't like a choice, a story choice. And it'll just be awkward because the whole time I'm watching it, no matter how well they execute it, and if it like really pulls on the right strings and they do it in a really great way, the entire time I'm watching it, I'm going to be out of it. I'm going to be watching it going, well, this was just like a executive decision that had to be made type thing. This was like a weird producer type decision type thing. Like the whole time, no matter how good it is, because that's all I'm gonna be thinking. Like, oh, they killed Schnapp. They got him. Red dot between the eyes. The writing was on the wall. Bang. So crazy. I just felt like they should just tell the story they were going to tell anyway. People will watch it. And people would probably meme on Schnapp, regardless of what they do with him. And that's just how it's going to be. And they can't really control that. The internet will do what the internet will do. And you can't really control it. I just did the same thing twice. But yeah, anyway, that's so we'll wrap it up here. 337, probably. Maybe not. I don't even know. And yeah, next one, 338.